Hey and welcome to the daily Arsenal news show. Let's begin with our daily news. Arsenal starlet Folarin Balogun now close to Reims loan. Folarin Balogun is close to joining Reims on loan, with Fabrizio Romano reporting that the Arsenal starlet could undergo a medical at the start of next week. Balogun's temporary exit will probably come as little surprise to many. The 21-year-old is down the pecking order as he continues his developments in North London. He showed glimpses of his potential while on loan at Middlesbrough last year, but it does appear to be too soon for the youngster to really push for the kind of game time he will need, and with that, a loan exit is on the cards. It seems that the move could be announced in the coming days. Reports previously suggested that Reims wanted the forward, and it seems that they will indeed get their man. Romano has now suggested that a medical could take place imminently. Meanwhile, he noted that Balogun had rejected the chance to join Premier League sides in favour to a move to France. The move to Reims will present Balogun with the chance to play top-flight football, and hopefully for Arsenal, he will get the opportunity to play regularly and take his game time to that next level. You can understand why he is seemingly not heading for a Premier League loan. He is an incredible prospect, but he was not prolific at the Riverside Stadium last season, so there would have been a real danger that he would not play regularly if he joined a top-flight rival. A move to Reims comes with its own risk, but clearly Arsenal are optimistic that it could prove to be an inspired move. Arsenal and Fulham find agreement over a Premier League move. Fulham are expected to pay around £8 million for the signing of Bernd Leno from Arsenal after an agreement was met. According to David Ornstein on Twitter, Fulham have reached an agreement with Arsenal to sign Bernd Leno, fee in the region of £8 million, final details being sorted between clubs, personal terms in place. The 30-year-old goalkeeper is expected to undergo medical next week before completing the move. The German is set for a medical in West London in the coming days after the two sides agreed terms, with the final details of the move to be finalized. Personal terms are also believed to be in place ahead of a move, with Marco Silva's side hopeful he can be signed in time to face Liverpool on Saturday. It has seemed a matter of time of late, although Kasper Schmeichel's potential exit from Leicester did threaten to throw a spanner in the works. It always felt as though the fact that he would be able to stay in London by joining the Cottagers would be a plus. Leno lost his place as Arsenal's number one last term and could be even as low as third choice at present following the arrival of Matt Turner, but that isn't to take away from what he has given the club since joining from Bayer Leverkusen, nor does it take anything away from his ability. Leno is a top goalkeeper, but his time in North London has run its course now. Newcastle move would appeal to Arsenal star Nicolas Pepe. Journalist Dean Jones has told Give Me Sport that he believes that a move to Newcastle United would appeal to Nicolas Pepe amid doubts over his Arsenal future. Pepe may be one player who leaves the Gunners in the final weeks of the transfer window. Unfortunately, the move has simply not worked out for the Ivorian. There have been flashes of brilliance, however, there has been nothing like enough to vindicate Arsenal for smashing their transfer record on the attacker. A move to a Premier League rival could be on the cards. Reports last week claimed that Pepe had been offered to Newcastle as the Magpies look to sign another forward player. Eddie Howe's men have been pragmatic in the market over the last two windows, and thus you would imagine that splashing the cash on Pepe may not appeal to Newcastle too much. However, Jones believes that the 27-year-old would welcome the chance to move to Teesside. I think that mid-table clubs are interested in him, but I don't think he's interested in playing at that level of the Premier League. Although Newcastle would interest him because they are going to challenge for the top 6, he told Give Me Sport. A loan move would arguably be the best option for all parties. Arsenal can hardly demand a top fee for Pepe off the back of an underwhelming spell at the Emirates. Admittedly, he only has 2 years left on his contract, so it will take a lot for Pepe's value to increase significantly. However, the Gunners are looking at a big loss whatever happens. Pepe can be an outstanding player, so a loan move may be worth the risk for Newcastle. They will not have lost a lot if it simply does not work out. It certainly seems that Pepe would not mind Newcastle making their move before the deadline passes. Pundit suggests Kieran Tierney is ready to return to action. Frank McKevney suggests Arsenal is holding back Kieran Tierney from playing too many minutes yet because they know he gives 100% when he's on the pitch. The Scotsman has become injury prone for much of the time he has spent on Arsenal's books. However, he remains one player who gives his all when he's playing for the club. The former Celtic man will go in for a tackle even if he's played in a game when he is carrying an injury. McKevney reckons it's this attitude that makes Arsenal rest him when he's not fully fit, and it's not his idea not to play. He tells Football Insider, if you put him on the pitch with a bad knee, he'll still go into a tackle with it. That's why the Celtic fans loved him. He's wholehearted, he's one of them. He'll put his body on the line for everything, and that's why the fans loved him. That's why the Arsenal fans think the world of him. There is no half measures with him. I think Arsenal are being a bit more skeptical and keeping him out, whereas Kieran Tierney will want to play. I think Arsenal will be the ones that will be holding him back. Tierney is one of our best players, and the left back has an excellent approach to doing his job. This is why most of the club fans love him and they want to see him play often. Hopefully, he would not suffer too many injuries this season. Valencia could agree move for Arsenal target Arthur this week. Arsenal remain in the background in the race to sign Arthur Melo, but the Brazilian is edging closer and closer to joining Valencia on loan and could agree a move this week, according to a report from Tuttosport. Arsenal continue to push for a couple of late signings, and Arthur is one name who simply will not go away. Reports claimed in January that Edu agreed a move for the 25-year-old. However, the Arsenal hierarchy decided against completing the loan deal for the midfielder. Nevertheless, the Gunners remain admirers of Arthur, and Tuttosport reports that they are still monitoring his situation as he closes in on leaving Juventus, but they may need to act quickly if they want to sign Arthur this summer. Tuttosport reports that Valencia are pushing to sign him on loan. In fact, a deal is edging closer and closer, and a deal could come as soon as this coming week. Valencia do want Juventus to pay a portion of the midfielder's wages. It will be interesting to see if Arsenal have any intention of making a last-ditch play for Arthur. You would imagine that they may be content with the former Barcelona man returning to La Liga with Valencia. Ultimately, they have had most of the summer to agree a deal, and it does seem that Juve have been open to a loan deal for some time. Arthur is an incredible talent, and it says a lot that he has been signed by both Barca and Juventus in the past, but perhaps Arsenal are ready to pursue other targets as they look to land some icing on the cake signings. Arsenal is still interested in making very difficult signing this summer. Arsenal remain interested in making what would be viewed as marquee signing this summer, with Ben Jacobs telling Give Me Sport that the club admired Bayern München winger Leroy Sané. Sané is one of the names that has emerged since the Gunners missed out on Rafinha to Barcelona last month. Mikel Arteta is seemingly on the lookout for another winger to provide competition to Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, and despite a move for the former Manchester City winger looking like a difficult deal to do, Arsenal are still keen on moving for the 26-year-old. Journalist Ben Jacobs told Give Me Sport that Arsenal really like Sané, but Bayern want to keep the winger this summer. The Sané links were prior to Rafinha, and I think that Arsenal got it quite quickly when they turned their attention to Rafinha, that it's going to be tough to get Sané to move away from Bayern, he said. I think Bayern's preference is still to try and keep Sané, so that one is going to be a challenge, but it's obvious they admire the player. The German international actually played under Arteta while he was assistant manager at Manchester City before they both moved into new clubs. The Gunners boss has already used his City links to his advantage during the transfer window, as the club have brought in Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko, but it seems that the Spanish boss will face a more difficult task in bringing Sané to the Emirates Stadium this summer, as Bayern do not seem keen on allowing him to leave. Fabrizio Romano told Give Me Sport last week that the German champions want to keep their player, and Arsenal are not yet in direct negotiations over a potential move. Sané made the switch back to Bundesliga in the summer of 2020, and has become an important player for Bayern. Last season, he registered 14 goals and 15 assists in all competitions. If the unlikely was to happen and Sané reunite with Arteta this summer, he would represent an even better signing than Rafinha. The German winger was excellent under Pep Guardiola during his time in the Premier League and has won the competition twice. Just like Jesus and Zinchenko, the Bayern man also has an exciting relationship with Arteta and will know exactly what the Spaniard would want from him. Cody Gakpo transfer stance revealed amid Arsenal links. Arsenal are being linked with Cody Gakpo this summer transfer window as Edu looks to finalize Mikel Arteta's squad ahead of the new season. The Gunners get the Premier League campaign underway on Friday night with a trip to Selhurst Park to face Crystal Palace. Edu and Arteta have already been busy in the transfer window, signing 5 players and spending more than £100 million. Spending is not expected to stop there though, with Arsenal reportedly interested in signing a central midfielder and winger. One name being linked with a move to North London is PSV star Gakpo. The 23-year-old netted 21 goals in 46 appearances for the Dutch side last season and assisted 15 more. His performances have seen him linked with a move away from the Philips Stadium, with Arsenal among the clubs reportedly interested. Now, according to Dutch outlet ED, the winger is unsure about his future at PSV. The report says that PSV have put a €40 million price tag on Gakpo, with the young attacker undecided on what he wants to do. It remains to be seen whether Arsenal make a formal approach to buy Gakpo this summer, but Arteta has already hinted that more signings could arrive at the Emirates Stadium this window. Gakpo is just one of several names to be linked with a move to Arsenal this summer, with Jarrod, Bowen, Lucas Paqueta and Yuri Tielemans also reportedly being monitored. Arsenal approach West Ham for Jarrod Bowen. Arsenal have approached West Ham for Jarrod Bowen, according to CBS Sports' Ben Jacobs. The Gunners have now lodged a formal inquiry, but as expected, West Ham aren't willing to let him leave the London stadium. Jacobs told Give Me Sport, with Bowen, West Ham's stance remains that they really don't want to sell. So there is a lot of clubs circling over Bowen, but the challenge, much like Declan Rice, is persuading West Ham to sell during this window, and West Ham remain pretty intent not to let him go. So there is lots of excitement about Bowen moving potentially to a club like Arsenal, but it's all hypothetical at the moment because West Ham don't want to sell, but Arsenal have definitely made an inquiry around Bowen to see what the situation is, but that's what they have been told. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.